Thank you very much, Ben and Joanna. It will definitely be interesting to see where DeFi will take us in the future. Coming up next, Mike Poon is going to talk about Apeboard, cross-chain DeFi portfolio management tool. So for this session, the audience can send any questions you might have. Mike will answer some selected questions at the end of his session. So if you are watching on Zip event, you can send your question in the inbox. And if you are watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can submit your questions in the comment section. So everyone, please welcome Mike.
Hi guys, Mike Poole. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Apeboard. It's a cross-chain DeFi portfolio trackers. And if you could pull up the slide, it would be great. Okay, cool. Cool. So Apeboard was actually, like, some of you might have used Apeboard before. It's the popular tracker similar to like DBank and Zappers. And but we focus more on like the ape, what we call like ape type user, which you're gonna see like how the ape type and like how DeFi user behavior have changed, and why we focus on that type of like new cross-chain DeFi users. So Apeboard was actually start from like my personal pain point of like being a DeFi user on like so many different chains. Like the main problem we have in DeFi currently is there's a lot of like financial service that allow user access to a lot of like different variants of financial service you can do. Like you can go on Uniswap to do a swap, or you can like go to Aave as a money market, something like that. Like there's so many protocol like spring up in the past in 2020s, and also like toward the end of the year. Then so there's so many of these protocol, like mostly of work, but like they are on like so many different chains. Like we can see a lot of like before, I think like before mid year of last year, like there was mostly people just like concentrate on ETH for DeFi, but once like Binance Smart Chain spring up, like a Solana, Terra, and Polygon, and those like a newer chain coming spring up, then like we can see a lot of people like trying to like migrate onto another chains, and like a lot of service kind of like move toward like another chain. So we can see like Sushi Swap like on a whole, but on a whole on many chains, and that actually create a lot of fragmentation for a user to use. And I have a lot of pain of actually I have to like go on to like each protocol website and then log my to be able to track my portfolio balance. I have to go on each protocol website and then like log all my balance on like on a Google spreadsheet, and that's like I've been farming on like 5 different chains like since December, and it took me like 20 minutes just daily just to log all my balance just to see like how my portfolio grow or shrinks. Yeah, so the fragmentation also is a real pain in and as a like cross-chain DeFi users, and we at Apeboard we aim to solve that problem. And another problem that I think is like very important is currently it's a lack of tool for user to understand risks in DeFi, right? So what actually makes an institutional and retail user, what's the main difference between like institutional user and retail user is how they understand risks, right? And for institutional user, like normally, let's say like in stocks or option, they have a tool for them to help like maintain, manage and understand the risks of like what their portfolio consists of. For example, in option, we have like option Greeks that traders track every day so that they can see the measure the risks associated with their portfolios. But yeah, and retail just have that not so long ago. But like for DeFi, right? Well, like not a lot of tool. There's not a lot of tool that help user actually understand risks of, let's say, providing liquidity onto onto like Uniswap or SushiSwap, and I think like we actually need more tool for user to help the retail user understand their risks associated with the investment in DeFi. And so that's come to what Apeboard is trying to build. So Apeboard is actually planning to do three things. So the first one is like to track, right? Track is like the most basic thing that you can is allow you to see the whole portfolio, your whole portfolio in DeFi at the same place, also cross chain as well. And then once we be able to track the portfolios, then we can show the risks associated with that portfolios so that you can see like, oh, hey, this is the risks of me like providing the LP in Uniswap, and then like, hey, this is how much I suffer from implement loss. Once you know the risks associated with the investment, then you can manage it. Whether you want to like pull the liquidity out, or you see, oh, hey, maybe like I maybe want to wait more so that like the implement loss kind of like come back to the rate that I acceptable for me, right? So the aim of Apeboard is like to track, then help user manage the risk, help user see the risk, and then help them manage the risk according, and then back to square one on tracking again. So so let me introduce you a little bit to like what Apeboard is capable of doing now. Okay, so Apeboard, like currently we support at around like 94. Apeboard just 4 months old, and we now support around like 94 DeFi protocol across like 5 different chains. And also we just add support for centralized exchange recently, which is Binance, right? So you can, if you put your address into Apeboard, now you can track like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Terra, Solana, and Polygon, and also if you can also track your Binance account together with your DeFi holding as well. Right. So the main feature of Apeboard is it allow you to see your cross-chain assets single view. For example, you can see like your Fulcrum balance here. You can see like Orca from Solana here together with like the Terra swap on oh, sorry. Okay, cool. Better. Okay. So you can see like the Terra swap on from Terra on the platform as well, right? And also like we see that like a lot of user actually the portfolio of user should be consist of multiple chain, as we can see like from the user behavior. So back like last year, user portfolio just consists of like one address, but I feel that we feel that it's not true anymore, and like a user portfolio nowadays it consists of multiple address on to multiple chains. So that be why we built like the things called like cross-chain profile. So you in the profile you can input like multiple address for each chain, and also multiple address for like different chains, and you can also like select the which protocol for each chain to load, right? Because like so this allow user to get faster load time from Apeboard, and also help us like reduce the server load as well. And also the most important thing that we want to help user understand is to see their risks and monitor your risk closely in when with your portfolios, right? So there's a tool that like Zapper and DBank that help you track, but like you also need you also need another tool like APY Vision that help you understand the implemented loss in your LP, and then if you can see the how your LP change, then you can like manage them accordingly. You might hedge it somewhere else, or like pull your person out, right? So Apeboard, like we try to integrate those monitoring tool together with the tracking dashboard, right? So for example, you can see your implemented loss directly in Apeboard. So just click the pool, and then it's going to show up the implemented loss, right? And once you know the LP change, right, you can decide whether you should hedge this, or if you see like the total chain is like, oh, you suffer from so many loss from the IL, you might want to pull your investment out. And we also do like the reward simulation, which you can see closely with the IL, and then you can decide whether you want to pull it out or you want to like wait for the reward to settle with the loss, right? Yeah, and we also like help user understand their overall portfolio better by like providing the portfolio exposure. You can see like all your assets that you provide in like whether in LP or you like stake it with RWA whatsoever. So you can see the whole asset balance here, and you can see how or what assets you're most exposure to, and you might want to be able to like maybe like this one have like too many UST, you might want to like buy some Luna or like manage that accordingly, and also like help with the we also help you see the asset allocation that maybe you put so much in wallet, maybe you have like too much UST in wallet, you might want to like deposit it with Anchor or something like that to see the protocol risk usage, for example. And also we Apeboard, we also like customize very specifically for each protocol, right? So for example, like Uniswap V3, they have like this really cool NFT, and you can we see like, okay, it's pretty cool. So if you click the percent balance, you can also see your NFT on Apeboard as well. And we help like user also track the liquidity range of in Uniswap, whether like your LP person is still in the liquidity range or not. This one is in the liquidity range, so it's okay. So we very customize. It's very specifically for each protocol, so that it's match the match the user behavior of like tracking the percent on each protocol, right? And also like we this actually come from my personal pain point that like I mostly want to view my portfolios on mobile all the time. For example, when I use Binance, right, I didn't even use like Binance desktop or Binance like the website at all. I just like use mobile to like mostly view my portfolio. So we decide Apeboard to be like very mobile focused and with like progressive with apps, so that you get the almost app-like experience by using Apeboard, right? So we didn't require you to like use MetaMask to connect wallet or like whatsoever. So just simply put your address in, and then your address gonna store in your like browser storage. So it's very safe. So we didn't like store your address elsewhere, just like in your browser storage. And then like you can like view your portfolio on mobile all the time. And we can see that from user stats as well. Around like 60% of our users actually use Apeboard to view portfolio on mobile. Right. So coming to like the customer segment and what's like we try to target, it's actually like we are targeting some sort of persona similar to myself, which is the cross-chain ape, right? They are those users who actually early user of the new protocol. You want to be the first to ape into like newer protocol created. Well, like there are some risks associated in being the ape, but like the reward maybe settle nicely. So so we help like that kind of user track their balance. And also, we also very focused on like emerging chains, right? For example, we are the first dashboard on Terra, and I think it's like we launched at the same time as Step Finance, so almost like the very early dashboard on Solana. So we want to be able to like support those cross-chain ape that are like fast on going onto the newer chain or ape into the newer protocol, right? So let's see some interesting stats we have for this customer segment, right? So these are the stats that we have from Apeboard, like what chain is mostly our user is on, right? So the first one is a BSC, which is what we support the most, and I think like we have also the most coverage of the protocol on BSC compared to other trackers. So we support around we have around 39% of wallet address tracking the BSC, and for and 20% on polygons and around 20% for ETH, and we also have like around 10% on Terra and Solana. Right, and so we also see this shifting, right? That only one around like 37% of user just track one chain just have one chain in the profile, right? But majority of user, about like 63% of our user actually a cross chain ape. So this is 21% of user track on two chain, and the 25% of user track on three chains. So we kind of see the shift of the user that they actually user behavior, DeFi user behavior is now like shifting more toward like cross chain, and we can see that from the stats that we see on Apeboard, and also if to I got a lot. We got a lot of this question that like, hey, to let's compare Apeboard with like Zapper and DBank. Like, are we like, what's the difference between like Apeboard and Zapper and DBank? I think like we actually on the we actually on the same goal that we need like DeFi. It's not just like the protocol or the financial service. It's also that we also need a tool to onboard a lot of newer users coming onto the space to help them like manage the portfolio and make them like their financial like DeFi life easier. And I think it's like having such a tool is like very important for to onboard the newer user onto DeFi. And I think like Zapper, DBank, and herein, they also like play the same role, and us also play the same role. But like we focus on different type of user. We focus on very niche user of like the cross-chain ape, and we also very fast in responding to like adding new protocol. So I think like we actually work together, but like our user segment is on different type, and our focus is on different way as well. We focus more on track and help user understand risk, right? DBank has like very good coverage of the whole of every chain. Zapper user experience like is really good, and you can manage a lot of things on Zapper. And I think it's like we also need more tool like similar to what we like portfolio tracker tool to help support the newer users coming onto DeFi. And so like this meme, like ape together strong. And yeah, that's it for from Apeboard. So thank you. Oops. So if you have any questions right now, so just can put into the chat, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Thank you for introducing Apeboard. That was fantastic. We have a lot of questions from the audience, so let me just go through it real quick. So Apeboard is, in essence, a data provider, right? And in traditional finance, there are multiple ways of monetizing of the data that the data provider have. So from your perspective, how could Apeboard monetize the user data that it has, or what are other channels of monetization that is interesting to you?
Yeah, we actually care a lot about like user privacy. So to be honest, like we didn't store the we didn't store any of like the user address at all in our database, right? It's just like when you query to API, it's just pass through log, and we just like log like whether like which chain are you on, like, and how many unique address we collect so far on the dashboard. That's all we log, but like we didn't the log is like it's all gone in like 7 days, right? And we didn't like keep the persistent data of any of the user address, right? So to be honest, like we don't actually plan to monetize Apeboard on the user data at all. And what we actually try to monetize on is like we want to provide like our user with more utility that you could do on Apeboard. For example, we are launching the sort of like the SAP function that Sapper have, like, but make it more degents, suitable to our user. Like we call it Ape Blender, that you can have like let's say you have like multiple of like LP, right? You stake it, you unstake it from somewhere else, and you want to ape into another pool quickly, right? You want to create like from LP to another LP, right? So we support the Ape Blender gonna support that kind of functions that allow you to convert like from LP to another LP quickly, or you can also convert multiple LP on multiple tokens, right? And get the LP output like really quick, right? And that actually save you a lot of gas and save you a lot of operation. And we also like trying to collect some fee on that. So I think like what we're trying to monetize on is to provide user with a lot of this kind of utility that you would love to use, and then we can we can get some fee on that, and we can also distribute those fee to the token staker as well. And also another one that we think about is like to have like the be a validator service for you guys, so that you can stake on with Apeboard, because we have to run the infrastructure for to allow Apeboard to query this many chain anyway. So maybe just run the validator on top and allow user to stake with like some simple UI. Yeah.
Yeah, so for the privacy conscious apes out there, do not be worried. Apeboard is not storing your information, plus also providing additional features in the future. So that's very exciting. So one of the things that I noticed from having used Apeboard myself is the pace of development and innovation of Apeboard, right? Because you guys are adding new chains and new protocols very, very quickly. However, with DeFi expansion like being super exponential, like how do you prioritize the development direction of Apeboard itself? Like which protocol to add, which new blockchain to add to Apeboard? Like how do you prioritize that information?
Yeah, that's actually like really good question, and it's necessary for the key growth of Apeboard, right? So since from the start, right, we think that like when we start Apeboard, like Sapper and DBank, they just have they just support like ETH at the moment, and we see that if we were to go head on with Sapper and DBank on like adding a lot of ETH protocol, we we are hitting it's gonna be hard fight, right? But what we try to do, like we try to go on the sort of like the unsupported, the long tail chain and long tail protocol that most dashboard doesn't support, right? So we actually the first one to add Terra is like Terra. I don't know why not none of the dashboard support Terra before. It's such a great chain and great ecosystem there. So we go on that direction. We go on a chain that unsupported like Binance Smart Chains and Terra and Solana. We try to go on that route, and we also support a lot of long tail protocol. We support a lot of protocol like sub 50 mil TVL, right? And that's our direction that we want to play. We want to play on supporting a lot of long tail protocol, and that's also cater very well toward our ape user segment as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I love about Apeboard is how it shows the systemic risk, right? It shows the distribution of my investment on different blockchains, because as like, a DeFi ape, you kind of want to diversify your risk across many different blockchains. And I think that it's fantastic, and that's also very crypto specific information, right? But on the flip side, is there any information that you see from traditional finance that you wish crypto sphere has that kind of information, and looking forward to incorporate that into Apeboard?
Yeah, of course. The thing that we have been working on is the P&L for your portfolio growth, right? Like we think this is So currently, a lot of dashboard only support like a sort of like a real-time snapshot of your portfolios. But what we want to do is like provide, since like all the data is on the blockchain, anyway, what we are trying to allow user to sort of like be right on a time machine and go back to that portfolio, like let's say like 7 days ago. So then they can see like how your portfolio growth over time, something like that. That's just what we actually working on it currently. It's actually a pretty hard problem because first like we need a special kind of node to be able to like query back in time. That well like that actually costs a lot. Another one is like to be able to like track price, historical price, right? From both on chain and from the on chain part, it's like it's and trying to find a way to like store that efficiently. That's it's pretty like hard problem, but we are working on that, like providing you with able to see how your portfolio growth over time. Yeah.
Yeah, what most people
And
don't
also
realize.
cross-chain. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what most people don't realize is that like being a data provider like an Apeboard, like Apeboard platform, there's a lot of innovation going on in the background, right? Which is like mind-boggling. Having said that, are you looking to expand your team? If like there's people listening to you right now, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, we are actually looking to expand like more our engineering team right now. So we are team of like four engineer and one biz and one designer, and we of course like looking to grow more team to be able to like support more chain, support like more feature for the user. So I think the main way that you can interact with Apeboard is through our Telegram group. We got a lot of nice community like participating in our Telegram group. You can go like on apeboard.finance, and there's gonna be a list of social media that you can contact us. But mostly we are very quick to respond on Telegram and Twitter message, so you can reach out to us on that. Yeah.
Okay, we have one last question because of time limitation. So this is a very interesting question. So what's the infrastructure behind Apeboard? How can you make it go so fast?
So first, we actually so the main layer is the RPC node that we use to query the chain, and we spend actually a lot of time like trying to monitor the node like really well, so that like let's say like some node is down, right, and then like user can query on that chain, and we have been like building a lot of like monitoring tool to help make sure that the node is like healthy all the time, right? And then another one, like we maintain the template of each smart contract very well. So let's say the master share smart contract, right? We also have like the template that we use to query the master share smart contract, and we have been like refactoring that. Like we refactor this like a bunch of times, so that like once it's very generalized, so that once like we have the new protocol use master share, we can just plug those in. So when the new protocol come out, right, it's just a matter of like putting all those templates that we already have like together, and then well, like new protocol can be added in like less than an hour. Yeah, because like we maintain the QV template like really well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks everyone for the question. And again, thank you, Mike, for the fantastic presentation. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the questions and for this session. So thank you again, Mike, from Apeboard.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us as well. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the next session. Please enjoy the next session.